Donald Trump will be officially sworn into office on Tuesday, the early hours of Tuesday Australian time, making him the second leader in US history since the 1800s to serve two non-consecutive terms. Mr. Trump has listed immigration, tariffs, domestic manufacturing as some of the issues he aims to address in his first 100 days.
Well, let's get into what we can expect in his second term with the Guardian's Washington Bureau Chief, David Smith, who joins us now from Washington, D.C. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today, David.
Thanks, great to be here.
Right, I was just perusing the guest list for President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration. And, you know, we've got tech leaders, we've got several right-leaning global leaders expected to attend as well. What are you reading into this guest list? What can we expect?
I think that's one potentially big difference in Trump's second term from the first, the rise of these tech entrepreneurs, or as Joe Biden said in his farewell address the other night, the tech industrial complex, most prominent of all, Elon Musk, the world's richest man, head, of course, of Tesla and SpaceX, and now the social media platform X. His intervention here has been really extraordinary. He spent about $200 million helping Trump get elected, campaigned for him in Pennsylvania, and has, since demanded a seat at the table. Quite literally, he's been at Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida during this transition. He's even been on calls to foreign leaders such as Zelensky of Ukraine. It remains to be seen just how much sway he will have over this administration. And certainly critics say he's got self-interest here, that the stocks of his companies have already gone up significantly since Trump won. This is really a conflation of power and business, and that's why we see also Jeff Bezos of Amazon and Mark Zuckerberg of Facebook and many others attending this inauguration and hoping that they can sway the Trump administration going forward. And I think the presence of right-wing leaders from Europe, such as Italy and elsewhere, also shows this is very different from the Biden administration. Trump sees himself as part of that populist, nationalist movement. It's a worrying time for old alliances such as NATO, as there seems to be a new strongman approach taking shape.
Well, you know, I just want to go back to the fact that ever since his victory in November, we have seen a number of people visit, Trump's Mar-a-Lago base in recent months. And one writer likened the stream of visitors to, and I'm going to quote here, subjects paying tribute to a king. There is an expectation that there will be a sharp cultural, ideological and political pivot from the last 4 years of the Biden administration. Is that what you're expecting as well?
Oh, yes, I think so, both in terms of personality and politics. The analogy with a king or some kind of medieval lord is accurate, and to an extent that was true in the first term as well. You have these flatterers like medieval barons coming to the court, trying to impress Trump and make his ego feel big. It's actually not that complicated. He responds to those things, the business leaders, politicians, others will try to get on Trump's favorable side. He says he admires and respects strength. That's why he likes President Xi of China, Vladimir Putin of Russia. You'll see lots of other people currying favor. You'll see lots of sycophancy. And to an extent, there's some of that with every president. But as ever with Trump, it's unsubtle. It's in primary colors. It's bold, and we'll see a lot more of it. And of course, politically as well, this is just a big shift from Joe Biden, a centrist Democrat who actually pleased many on his left wing with his policies that did more to favor the middle class and working class. This time around, we have 13 billionaires in government, which is just extraordinary and unheard of. And I think one of the attacks on Trump is going to be that he's running a rich boys club. He's going to cut taxes for the wealthy. One of the looming questions, I think, if and when his grassroots supporters wake up to that and say, hang on, you you promised to be the champion of the little guy. Why are you favouring the super rich?
Well, the last line, the latest line to come out of Mar-a-Lago is that a large-scale immigration raid will take place in Chicago on the day or just after a day after the inauguration. This, of course, had been a Trump campaign promise that he had promised to deport illegal aliens. But given the numbers, the sizable numbers of aliens that are in the US, how successful will he be?
It will be a struggle, and I think on a range of issues, Trump faces this problem of living up to his very radical promises, such as ending the Ukraine war on day one and cutting prices. And of course, immigration has always been his central animating issue. We saw that in the first campaign as well with Build the Wall. This time, the main theme was mass deportations. I went to Trump campaign rallies, and immigration really dominated them, including untruths, falsehoods about the numbers coming in and where they were coming from. There are practical, logistical problems around mass deportations in terms of having enough immigration people to enforce it, then building detention camps. Just the sheer costs involved are potentially staggering. We're talking probably billions of dollars, not to mention the impact that will then have on the economy in terms of workers who are lost. So you've already heard a bit of rhetoric moderating from Trump's allies. They're going to perhaps start with undocumented immigrants who have criminal records. They're thinking maybe in the first year about 1 million people, which is still a tremendously high number, but perhaps less than he was promising. And I think a lot of it will be about managing expectations and being seen to try and live up to the promise without being able to go as far as Trump actually said he would.
David Smith, Washington Bureau Chief of The Guardian, we thank you so much for sharing your insights with us.
Thank you.